Call of Duty World War will be the last World War II game we'll see in the Call of Duty series for a long time. I have been a dilemma for years about whether I like this game or not. On the one hand, I think it's a very successful game, but on the other hand, I can't quite like it because it has a very cliché story. There have been plenty of games that I found difficult to review so far, and World of War is one of them. I want to keep the review short on one hand, but on the other hand, there are details I need to mention to do justice to the game. Let's start with the story. The story of World of War includes the two teams of World War II. The first team is the story of the Americans, part of the Marine team, fighting against the Japanese in the Pacific. This story is predictable from beginning to end. However, the story becomes intriguing when the Japanese set traps to ambush American soldiers, etc.
Scoreboard! Scoreboard! Oh, what happened to your friend?
Assuming that the majority of those who follow my Call of Duty reviews are American, I believe you're aware of, how challenging the warfare in the Pacific has been. The game is quite successful in depicting the challenges of the Pacific War to us.
Hey, I know that guy. I kill him. He cried like a bitch.
The Japanese are a nation that lives for their honor. With a superior sense of community over individualism, they can sacrifice themselves when they feel they are not serving in the right way, This can be seen in banzai charges and kamikaze attacks. The amphibious nature of the war, coupled with the fact that the Japanese never give up or surrender, makes things quite difficult for the American army. The game reflects this quite well. The Japanese army, mostly with inadequate and poor quality weapons, managed to give a tough time to the American army and our team, especially with traps. The wars between Americans and Asians have always been challenging, I think. Korea, Vietnam, Japan, etc.
Vietnam, undefeated!
Our second team is a Soviet team, Viktor Reznov and Dmitry Petrenko, who barely escaped the atrocities committed by the Germans in Stalingrad, reunited in the month of April 1945, the last month for the Germans. For the Third Reich, I mean. The Soviets inflicted atrocities on the Germans as well. Many times worse than what the Germans did in Stalingrad and throughout the Soviet Union. If you know a bit of story, you will know that during the Battle of Berlin, even women over 70 years old were raped and surrendering Room soldiers were moved down with PPSR submachine guns. FYI, I have no sympathy for the funny mustache guy and the Third Reich. Screw all the fascists who lived in those days, and I'm not neo-fascist today. The game has portrayed the Soviets' harsh revenge styles very well. Especially the actions of the Soviet army entering the Berlin are extremely brutal. Of course, the game can only show so much, In short, the Soviet sections are more interesting and captivating than the American, World of War is a game that tries to tell a story but falls short. Probably after the impact Call of Duty 4 left on the gaming world, the Treyarch team wanted to add a story to the game, but they couldn't integrate it into the game very successfully. The characters are not interesting at all. The only character that caught my attention in this game is Viktor Reznov. The reason why Viktor Reznov is an interesting character is that he is explored in the game released as the sequel of this one, Black Ops. Other than that, the characters in the American and Soviet sections are not captivating or interesting. Let's take a look at the gameplay. Call of Duty World of War is an FPS. Since it is set in World War II, we have the opportunity to use the weapons of that era again, and I feel the weight of the weapons. This is a good thing, by the way. When I kill enemies with rifles like K98K, I feel like I can really feel squeezing that weapon. I can't say the same for submachine guns, but the newly emerging assault rifles of that era are very good. The feel of shooting with STG and bar is superb. Additionally, there are interesting weapons in the game that we can use. We can attach a bomb to the end of the M1 Garand and use it like a grenade launcher. Flamethrowers are not bad at all as well. As an additional note, in one section we can use a tank, but as I mentioned in my previous reviews, I don't really like using tanks. In an American section, we also attack Japanese ship in a naval airplane, and this section is not bad at all. It mostly feels scripted and makes it clear that it is scripted, but I still liked it. Also, the most important innovation in terms of gameplay is the zombie mode. The two most important gameplay modes that Call of Duty markets today are multiplayer and zombie modes. The multiplayer mode has been there from the beginning and in my opinion will become less popular at some point. The reason is that the multiplayer modes that come with each new game lower the overall quality. The reason why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 released in 2023 was mocked by serious gaming organizations is because Call of Duty is multiplayer focused. I believe multiplayer focused gaming will never die, but my opinion is that Call of Duty's multiplayer mode will die one day because there are better services. At some point, Call of Duty will either evolve into a completely multiplayer focused servers or transform into a single player game where multiplayer is disregarded. Activision will decide this. Multiplayer focused gaming will never die, but my thought is that Call of Duty's multiplayer mode will die one day because there are better services like CSGO, like Valorant, like anything else. The zombie mode, on the other hand, is a mode added to Call of Duty with this game. It is fundamentally simple, trying to defend a stronghold against waves of zombies. Today, the second service that Call of Duty highlights is the zombie mode. I like the zombie mode more. Fighting zombies in co-op is a very nice system. Okay, let's talk about level designing. The Soviet sections are very well designed. The Soviets using everything they have in their war strategies and destroying their enemies is reflected in the level design. But the American sections have plenty of islands in the Pacific, so there is sand, soil and tropical trees galore. But I didn't really like the level designs of the, American section. Let's look at the graphics. The graphics are not a masterpiece, but I can say they are sufficient. Not great, not terrible. Character designs are meh, but the environment visuals are very good. The visuals of the weapons are not bad at all. However, this game is not technically good. It has a lot of bugs. Sometimes due to character animations, characters go off the map or get stuck on the ground. Unfortunately, the errors have not been cleaned up enough. Finally, let's talk about sound and music. There is a character in the American section that I did not mention and who I never talked about, Sergeant Reebok, voiced by the legendary actor Kiefer Sutherland. Victor Reznor is voiced by Gary Oldman, and as a Batman fan, I recognize him from his voice. The voice cast is generally terrific, but I can confess that I like the music enough. I don't think they are bad, but I can't enjoy them. As you can probably guess from the status of the review so far, I do not see this game as a sufficient one. Call of Duty 1 and 2 had very successful American and Soviet sections, so I expected more from World of War. For example, we were in Stalingrad in one section and suddenly we came near Berlin in the next, experiencing a 3-year jump. People want to see the story in between. What I mean is that we haven't warmed enough for this story. Our next Call of Duty review will be my favorite, Modern Warfare 2. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my video. See you soon.